Capital punishment. Do you remember that? No?
No.
Props to anyone who gets that bit. That's a bit from
it is good to
Whose Line Is It Anyway? I don't remember what it was, but it was a question from a hat. And Wayne comes out and sings that. I think it might be like, yeah, oh yeah, right, it was unusual state song names, and obviously that was for Texas. Because, you know, it wasn't a cowboy song either, right? So,
yeah.
It's like a show tune song for, yeah. And let's say it caused everyone to laugh would be an understatement.
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back to Paj-anime.
Obviously, I'm not a fan of Capital.
Are you sure about that one, Ryan?
Who do you think's the most? I bet you Waka is a fan of Capital Punishment on Albeds.
Jesus, dude.
You don't think so?
No, he probably is.
I mean, what is the punishment here actually for breaking all the religious rules that you did? We don't know if the religious groups. Okay, that's it. They're just a fan of ostracization, not of capital punishment.
Well, I think the idea
is they cut off your social head, not your literal head.
If you don't like, you will not be spared from sin, basically.
Yeah, so
they're not going to do anything
condemn
to
you to death.
They don't condemn you. They're just saying like, you won't be saved.
That's the same thing, though.
But they're not the ones who decide who gets saved. They're just saying like, when the time comes and we are all saved. Like,
yeah, but they wouldn't let you live with them, right? Anymore. If you so assuming you didn't have Yuna and you broke all these religious rules, right? Like you had. They probably kick you out in the cold, and since they're the only example of working civilization for the most part, with the exception, I mean, I guess you could run to the Albed.
Yeah, you could just run to the Albed.
You do have an Albed companion.
Yeah, but
so that could be a potential plotline. Maybe we have a civil divide here. Final Fantasy 10, Civil War.
We technically have 1.5 Albed.
What would be the teams? Team Waka and Team Steve?
Well, are we sure that Steve is going to be cool with them?
With the Albed?
Yeah.
So would it be Team Steve and Team...
I mean, it's definitely Team Waka. That's a given.
Waka and Yuna?
Waka and Riku, probably. Like, she's like the full-blown Albed.
She's not really much of a leader, though. Also, she's not really making it a point of conflict, whereas Yuna's kind of... She's also with Seymour. Also, Yuna's the one who's not against the Albed using the machines, because she's half Albed, as you've explained.
Neither is Riku. She wasn't around for that part, but she obviously doesn't have an issue with
what side would everyone be on? That's the question. If we know Waka, it would be Team Waka. I'd say you're right. Steve would probably join Waka just out of history and loyalty.
No, I don't think he would.
Oh no! Wait, Steve's in love with Yuna. He wants to get with Yuna. What am I talking about? That would carry him.
He's also by the Albed too.
He's 17 and in love, so it doesn't matter at that point.
And also, I'm pretty sure everyone except for Waka either doesn't care or already knows. Oren figured it out.
I think Oren would probably be on Team Waka just because he wants to fight.
An Albed.
Oren doesn't seem to care one way or the other, to be honest, about that issue, about a lot of issues.
Yeah, Oren's got his own shit going on.
Again, you see why I'm the least trustworthy of Oren and Yuna, because they're the most secretive, and Seymour, and especially with the case of Oren, as you said, he actually doesn't have anything going on with the main plot line other than to tell you that Jekt is a thing, and other than to establish that he also traveled through time with you, or at least he was at that time. You saw him in your timeline in Zarnak in past time, right? So he has a lot of questions he hasn't answered, and he doesn't seem to give a shit about anything that's happening. So it kind of makes me think that, like you said, he's got his own plans and intentions, and usually people have their own plans and intentions are the villain in my history, or in the history of anime. They're either the villain or they're hiding something from you that they wouldn't want you to know. Maybe
they're either the hero or they live
Jekt.
long enough to become the villains.
Indeed. I believe in Oren. Not really, though. I believe Oren is No, my opinion that he's Jack doesn't necessarily make him the villain. Jack hasn't been established as a villain yet. Only established as either Steve's father, a memory of Steve's father, or someone else's father that Steve is somehow remembering. I'm not ruling out the possibility that somehow you didn't travel through time, but Steve's consciousness did, and whoever you embodied is you know, we're seeing you as Steve, but maybe everyone sees you as something else. I don't know. That's possible.
Ooh, interesting. I mean, we did see Steve in past time,
Yuna could be casting a spell on you to make you look like that, or maybe Yuna summoned your consciousness. We don't know the extent of the power of these summoners. Maybe Yuna summoned your consciousness, or someone did, from the past to bring you here
need to have a
for
Charlie
their purposes.
to keep
Anyway.
the game straight.
I'm just saying, there's a lot. All these things are all possible.
Yeah, no, this is fascinating to me. But also, you definitely need a Charlie board. Where's Pepe Sylvia at, Ryan?
Pepe's the one who tipped me off to the Oron Yek theory to begin with.
Did you say Yacht?
Yeah, I know. Go ahead. That's how you pronounce that as a hockey player from like Deutschland.
Deutschland?
Dude, I'm being. Come on, Kyle. I
I don't know with you.
I know. Come on. I'm not that. Oh, yes, you do. That's a bit.
I have heard you say some real bad mispronunciations of names before.
It's not even called Dutchland. It's called a different Denmark.
But there's also but Germany is called Deutschland. I thought
But that's not what I was saying. I was talking about the Dutch.
I don't know. I thought you were leaning into the Deutschland bit.
No, I was. It was a bit though. Not Deutsch. Anyway, it's okay.
Deutsch like a Deuger?
Anyway, yeah, there was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's actually where I heard that. Pronounced that way is what's his name from that one bad
Goldmember?
Yeah. Sorry, what's his name? That's the only actor in those movies.
Mike Myers?
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Michael Myers.
I don't like movies that do that. The more I've seen it, the more sometimes it's okay, but more often than not, especially when they put them on screen at the same time, we know they're not looking at each other. They can't act in the same scene because it's too. I don't like it when they do that. Even with CGI, it's just like no.
Yeah, fuck that thing.
It also, to me, it also like takes up roles that could be really hilarious. Like in my mind, I'm like you know the beginning of Goldmember when it's like Tom Cruise is Austin Powers and like John Travolta. You know what's the crappy part about that? That looks more exciting. Like that's actually what I want that to be. You know what I mean? Like take serious actors that would normally not do these very Saturday Night Live roles and give them those roles. I actually think that would be more entertaining. Like I kind of feel like to a degree that's what like something like Santa Clarita Diet leans into, right? Like this is Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant doing a Shaun of the Dead, right? Like there's a serious level to this. That's Nathan Fillion. Like Nathan Fillion's been in some comedic stuff, but he's also been in some serious stuff, right?
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore is obviously the big name out of that's doing the role because she's obviously a former big time actor.
Yes.
Actress. Sorry. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
Yeah. Thanks, anime.
You can't just say the word anime and expect it to mean something.
That's kind of what one of the reasons why I think The Office works is because they bring in Idris Elba and James Spader and Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah, they did bring in Timothy Olyphant for 2 episodes.
And Will Ferrell, and you know what I mean? Jim Carrey was in a bit. Like
as much as I know you hate Will Ferrell, he was great in that.
All the big shot actors were good because they weren't there long, except for James Spader and Idris Elba. They were there a little bit longer, but they were great in the bits they were in. So, James Spader was awesome. Robert California might be one of my favorite characters.
I mean, D'Angelo Vickers did a juggling routine without juggling balls to Evanescence's "Bring Me to Life," Ryan.
What? When was that?
Right now.
When he was telling them he could juggle. Yeah, in The Office.
Search.
And then, like,
D'Angelo Vickers?
That was Will Ferrell.
Oh.
Guard your
and he's like,
emotions.
"Oh, I really wish I had my
I
juggling
forgot the
balls. I'd
character
do a
name. That's why
routine
you
for
should
you."
have just Will Ferrell.
And then.
Oh, whoa.
You're right.
Nipples.
He lost.
You gotta remember this guy. This guy's Hulk Hogan. So.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Taking up enough of your time.
Yeah. He's all panicked. And Oren's like, "Dude, chill the fuck out and go find her."
Sir Aaron.
No, yeah, he did that. Like Andy was like, "Oh, I've got some balls. I've got my balls."
Yeah,
He goes,
yeah.
"Oh,
I
never
know
touched
what you're
another
talking about
man's
now.
instruments."
I couldn't.
Yeah. That was
you
a
did
great
say
bit.
Yeah.
He's just unironically
okay.
doing a
I
juggling
just wanted to
routine.
wish you
I
good
actually thought
luck.
the best bit with Will Ferrell was the how they debuted him. After that, everything after that.
Oh,
was
when he was in
okay.
when he was in the
They
bar?
were in the same bar and they were looking for each other, and I was like, I bought that bit because the joke was that both Steve Carell and Will Ferrell are stupid, and I think that's
Yeah.
funny because that's actually what their characters are, right? So it's just
Yes.
like I like it when they're the butt of the joke, not when everyone else is, because far too often when everyone
You're
else is, it
wasting
can
our
veer
time.
uncomfortable.
Hey, that thing.
By that I mean sometimes Steve Carell gets a little too deep with his insults. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes the joke that Steve Carell does isn't socially conscious about Oscar being gay is good initially, but then like 3 minutes in, you're like, okay, we get it. Like,
Yeah. Oscar likes dudes.
over pushing this actually is like, I'm not even necessarily saying that because it's like socially inoffensive. I think that's the case. Like at that, I talk about this with you sometimes about the SNL stuff. Like
Yeah.
there's sometimes a line of like, you don't get when you're beating the dead horse joke. And that's, to me, that's the equivalent. It's like, it's not necessarily that this isn't socially inoffensive, it's just you're beating a dead horse. Like, sometimes less is more. It's a good joke initially, and like, you don't need to keep up with it.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I'm one of the rare people who, I really love Steve Carell's character in The Office, but I do think some of the later seasons of The Office are actually just as strong or sometimes stronger, because they focus more on the
there are
characters.
moments that are, absolutely.
Yeah. Like I think Jim and Pam, or Jim,
be so
Pam,
shocked.
and Craig Robinson's character, and Dwight. Daryl, yeah. And I do think the temp too is generally pretty good.
Ryan's like kind
yeah.
of
But most of them are probably some of the best characters. Like what's his name was really good in the beginning, Andy, but then they
Yeah.
turned him into his character from The Hangover, basically. Then they just really leaned in, and I was like again, the same thing, right? They're like, whoa, guys, you didn't get the joke. Like, you got the joke, but then you WWE'd it too hard. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a good example, actually. It's exactly
like
what they did.
like his plot line where he left and had different girlfriends and they traveled and they went, like, that was all ridiculous. Like, ugh. Yeah, I feel like probably the best, Jim and Pam were probably the best handled characters of The Office. I think that's probably a universally agreed opinion, I imagine.
Yeah.
They were just the most realistic, right? They were the Dwight too. Like, Dwight was the one that I felt they handled with the most care, because it was like, he was a weird character, but they didn't overdo it, you know what I mean? There were
I
also
feel like
moments
that
where he was
more
normal.
of a testament to Rainn Wilson. Like, I think he
True.
really just crushed it.
As someone who's seen him in the new Star Trek, Discovery, he's in that. He plays a vintage character from the original series, Harry Mudd.
Oh, really?
Who is,
That's a
yeah. He plays a take on Harry Mudd that's real good, and he's like, he kind of gets to be a badass. He's kind of like if you were to make Chris Pratt's character kind of more of an unattractive, whiny guy who's kind of like, I got to scoundrel my way through life because I don't have a choice. That's surviving. That's kind of his character. So he's like, so kind of like, because you know, Chris Pratt's character is kind of pseudo villainous. He's kind of roguish, if you will. He's kind of like that. I liked him because the Discovery's a little more violent, by the way, or a little more action scenes. Like, you know, it's 2018. Everything's a little more superhero-y in its
Yes.
presentation, as I should say. Yeah, you'd like it. You'd like that role. But yeah, I don't know. That The Office, and we were talking about specifically the use of Steve Carell's character there.
Bird-Harp-Arm.
I do think sometimes it's turned on a little high. That's all. Yeah, I like this. This guy's a bird with a harp. And he has got a thing on his head.
A butterfly with rainbow wings.
Oh, hate its voice.
will lead the way to secret things.
And it rhymes. Like,
Not
what's
doing this
butterfly
bullshit.
on it? Oh, try to catch 7. What? Dude, you got to catch 7 of the blue butterflies.
Fuck no, I don't
Look
have to do
down.
anything I don't want to do. Fuck those butterflies. I'm getting the fuck out of here. We don't have Steve and we go super late because Rocket doesn't do his job anymore.
Fire.
Hot fire!
Yep. Hot fire. That's the tune of the week. Did you know that? Or did
No.
you just like, or did you just say hot fire? I don't know.
I just wanted to say hot fire.
On the Friday Night Shuffle, which will be coming up here later. No, the Friday mix is later night. Well, the Friday night shuffle happens by like 11 o'clock, I think. Even though it's Thursday, but it's Friday in Aussie's.
Yes.
Aussie time. Yes. That is another thing they do on Friday called the Friday Night Shuffle, which is just like a bunch of dance tunes, and the Hot Fire is their tune of the week. And they always go Hot Fire, Hot Fire, Hot Fire.
No, I did not miss you, Steve. Oh, you fucking missed the bullshit.
So you basically accidentally memed there.
Thought so.
Yes.
Man, in culture, you don't even have to do it. You can ignorantly do it.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm all about that life.
Some people are just like, I thought it was Kermit.
What were you just doing?
For Pepe, you know.
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
Joking about accidentally memeing, so I'm just like, how would you accidentally meme Pepe? I guess you'd have to be like, I think it's Kermit.
Pepe Sylvia.
You'd have to be pretty heavy Pepe Sylvia. I meant Pepe the Frog.
Charlie, not only are all of those people real, they've been asking about their mail for weeks.
It's all they've been talking about up there.
Yeah, don't they get fired? And then, oh yeah, Charlie hasn't given them the pink slips yet.
No, yeah, he doesn't give them the pink slips.
Yeah, because he's...
They also clearly don't care about their mailroom, which is earnestly actually an office. That's one of the great parts about that joke.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck about the mailroom.
No, like, you know how we were talking about ignorant people in lines? How, like,
Yeah.
they don't recognize they're part of the problem? This shit happens at an office, too. So let's assume you have low mailroom staff or bad mailroom staff in some offices. Okay,
Yeah.
right? So then everything's disorder. There's mail backed up for weeks. Nobody goes down to the mailroom and collects their mail. They just wait. They complain about it and wait. It's like, you guys could just all go down there and help them sort and get it done. Like, this is a problem if we all just handle... Nope, no. That is... but yet they still complain about it.
Ryan,
and it's like,
are you ready for the greatest
shit.
attack name ever?
Are we ready for Lil Caesar to drop him with Lil Thor's hammer?
Yeah.
That's his rap
Well,
song title.
it had to go
That's the
somewhere
first song of his album.
after Thor lost
Thor's
it, right?
hammer. Lil Caesar's clearly in with the kids. Hello, Mjolnir.
No.
Is it actually
Electric
Mjolnir?
fight! Yeah! Oh, look at
Good
that
one, see it.
damage.
Oh shit, Lil Caesar. That's Little Caesar should use a unicorn as their sponsor or as their mascot. I think that
I
they
mean, they
would
will
get
now.
way more sale. They would get way more sales.
Treasure chest.
The hot and ready unicorn. No, actually, that doesn't sound. You know, maybe that's not a good way to word that.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yeah.
That sounds sexual.
I mean, the unicorn might be. I'm sure that unicorn at some point. Well, you know what? They don't actually explain. They never do that with Pokemon either. Do they mate?
Pokemon? Yeah, they cover that.
So what about summons? Do they exist in a? Are they? Okay, we're gonna get deep here on summons while you're grinding some of these randoms. So,
Sure.
When you summon an Aeon,
Yes.
Is it like a Pokemon where it's in a stasis of existence
So
temporarily,
summons are.
or is it from another? Are you channeling a? So it seemed like there could only be one, because you couldn't do mirror version of the fight. So are you like literally grabbing it from another plane of existence and bringing it here? Like, is it literally just
you
chilling
are
somewhere else normally?
channeling it from the Faith, which are those statue things they were talking about.
Yeah, but where is it right now?
In the ether.
Yeah, but what's it doing there? Where does it have a
chilling.
universe? Does it have a house? Does it hunt?
I think
Is
they're
it-
playing poker.
Yeah, probably. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm just curious. I'm just curious if they ever explain.
Oh, they're just animeing.
Okay, yeah, no, I know. I'm not saying it is explained. I'm just curious if they're.
Oh, no,
I
don't think
if the summons are actually caught in stasis and you're just bringing them to battle, or if they're just like beast hunting on the lands in their own dimension and you're bringing them to battle.
No time to waste. Let's go.
Yeah, I genuinely.
There should be a game where you are the summon. That should be Final Fantasy's name. They should make a game all about summons. The people are the summon. You summon famous Final Fantasy characters in the game instead of summons. You're Ifrit. In hell.
Instead, you summon
They should, yeah. Clearly, it's a missed opportunity to explore the summon lore, because that's the actual continuity between all the Final Fantasy games, isn't it? All these summons can go to these different dimensions and universes, but none of these universes are otherwise connected.
The summons are not always the same.
No,
types.
but there
Like,
are
these are
usually
Aeons,
examples of them. Them and
but they've
Moogles.
got-
So the Moogles know what's going on with the summons.
And,
so you need to make.
Chocobos. And
We got the
Cat Cards on
crossover of
there.
all crossovers. We figured it out. Detective Pikachu is on the case. He's going to hunt down the Moogles, get to the bottom of what's going on with the summons. Clearly the Moogles know because they travel between universes. The Moogles are also in on it, and I'm assuming the Chocobos are. Anything that's connected between games has to be in on it because they're the only things that are. So they know what's actually going on.
Ryan, you're a genius.
Detective Pikachu presents Final Fantasy, the true story.
You're
Done.
on the fucking case, dude.
You're gonna sell 1 million copies, Square's like, that's it, and we won't make enough money on that.
Square, come on.
I love how you have to use like a big number. Like, you're gonna sell 20 million. You're gonna sell Call of Duty numbers.
Yeah. You're the main event of WrestleMania. You're wrestling Triple H. With all due
Just gotta-
respect, I don't need to wrestle you. You need to wrestle me.
You're wrestling Triple H.
Oh, I'm not doing this butterfly bullshit.
No, that was funny. We might want to call it here.
How far? Yeah, we're like 20 minutes in. We can. I think that they're
Yeah,
actually.
well,
hang
your
on.
girlfriend was home soon, so.
I think actually we're coming up to a part here that. Yeah, no, we're gonna. There's one.
Wait.
Oh, she's actually
Okay.
speaking of which she's
It is
calling me right
here.
now. Yeah, we're gonna. There's one fight coming up here that I want to do.
What's here?
Hey,
What's
dear, you're on our
Something you
show.
should see.
You do this every time.
Sir
It's like
Orin.
you think you're scaring.
It won't take long.
No, I'm not scaring her. Hey, you're on our show.
It's scaring. It's like a surprise. Surprise, you're on the show.
Yeah.
Anime.
You're welcome for telling you. It's almost like that's a considerate thing to do, Ryan.
Anime.
Does Ryan not do that? That's not cool, Ryan.
Damn.
Well, I don't do that with anyone. Who do I do that with? Pepper. Well, I can't help that.
Okay, I was just calling to let you know I'm coming home now.
Perfect. I'll see you when you get home.
Alright.
All right. Love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I just tell her as a courtesy. She's not like, oh my god, I want to.
When did I do that? I don't think I did that to anyone.
No, she's just busting your balls, dude. She doesn't know. So I was like, because she couldn't hear you, obviously. And I was
No,
like,
I know. I'm
Yeah.
aware of that. In fact, I've always been aware of that fact.
Yeah.
You see, you have headphones, and I
Yeah.
I understand how the mechanism of those work.
Hey man, I don't know. You haven't seen
All
the
right.
studio.
Place.
No, she's
There's
just.
just water, isn't it?
She's not using
Hey.
anything specific.
This is what
Oh, there's a
spheres
tree
are
too
made
there
of.
with a big sphere in it.
It absorbs and preserves people's memories.
Okay. I feel like there's always something like this in Final Fantasy games.
What's that?
Another connection. Detective Pikachu. We'll have
Fiends
to
are also
investigate.
attracted to these places.
Orin, I
I've
feel
never
like you
actually
could have
seen
mentioned that up front.
anything about Detective Pikachu either. Is he actually a detective?
I don't know.
All I know is
I
he wears
guess
a
he's
hat.
voiced by Ryan Reynolds.
In the movie, not
Oh,
in the
shit.
anime. I read something in. I read a very incorrect article. Sorry, it wasn't very incorrect. It had one incorrect statement, but it said that Detective Pikachu is basically like a middle-aged man, and then, so they're just like, he's basically Danny DeVito, and I'm like, I don't know what realm you can say Danny DeVito is middle-aged.
No, he's old.
Like he's got probably grandkids. That's not middle.
Or he could anyway.
Like he might sound like a grouchy middle-aged man. I'll give him that. But I feel like even his role in Sunny
It
has evolved to
absorbs all
grouchy
spells
old man.
except it's one
I feel like
weak.
it's always been grouchy old man. Dennis and them are middle-aged, aren't they? But I guess they aren't technically by numbers. Because if you're 30, are you middle-aged? That's what you consider middle-aged. But most people don't die when they're 60. Most people live to 90 or 100 actually now, or getting closer. Anyway.
Yeah.
So 50 might be middle-aged. But either way, Danny DeVito's like 70, right? So
I have no idea how old he is. I feel like he's not that
he's
old,
not
though.
50. I don't think he's 50. There's no way he's under 60.
I don't know what kind of blizzard.
We're gonna fight this. Oh, this
Yeah.
reminds me of that in Ocarina of Time, that Legend of or that Water Temple boss, the
yeah.
the Plasmorpha or whatever.
Yep, it certainly does. This thing's also a pain in the ass because it changes its how many do you have here for this? It changes its element every time you hit it, and if you try to hit with elemental damage, it'll absorb the damage unless it's its one weakness. But it changes it every time you hit it with a spell.
Oh wait, I see why you gave me a flippant snapback.
Wait, what?
Never mind. With the when you mentioned the courtesy, I was wondering, sitting there like, why did he give me that flippant about it response about him? I was like, oh wait, because I actually was giving him joking criticism about
Yeah.
constantly saying you're
Oh
on our
yeah,
show.
yeah. That was
Yeah,
why.
never
Yeah,
mind.
that was exactly why I did that. And then she just played off of that.
See,
Sorry,
I
I
made
thought
a
it was
joke, and then you
obvious.
made a joke, and then I thought your joke, yeah, it wasn't a joke. I was like, well, you
Yeah.
give me this flipping. Well, I knew it was a joke. I don't know. What's a joke?
You're a joke.
Yeah, that's me. Joke
Ryan
power.
joke power.
Yeah, I'm a jamoke.
Is that? I'm not
You never heard
familiar
that
with
term
that
before?
reference. No.
Wow. I don't even remember what it's from, but I remember hearing it in something. Wrestling, probably. You
That
jamoke.
sounds probably about right.
You know what? I'm sure Google will tell me. Jamoke. Yep,
Why
jamoke.
don't you also look up what age Dane DeVito is?
No, that's not what it is. There we go. Urban Dictionary. The regular dictionary says appearing at the end of the 19th century as a blend of Java plus Mocha. By the 1920s, it became slang
that
for
one I
someone
knew.
who lacked. Oh, there we go. It became slang for someone who lacked mental abilities beyond that of a cup of coffee. Probably influenced by Moke. In the 1960s, it also began to be used as a slang for male genitalia. I did not know that. A clumsy loser who is incapable of doing normal human tasks. That's what I was assuming it was.
Oh.
That's the connotation. I heard it in like a show or something. You jamoke. Someone said it.
Yeah.
Because saying you're a joke is not enough. Because a joke implies you're just funny, right?
Yes.
Where this kind of more implies you might be funny as a byproduct of.
Can this thing hit me with
You're-
a different element?
Perfect example. Mr. Magoo,
Yeah.
right?
That's a. Pardon me. That's a pretty good example.
He's blind. He falls downstairs. It's probably horrible to laugh at his comedy, but in the show, he was always very. He'd somehow be lucky, right? He'd go through these
Yeah.
ridiculous, clumsiest falls that would kill a person, and then he'd just get his thing and be
Totally
walking
fine.
along. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. Three Stooges were the same way. Culture was weird, man. Culture is really weird. As we sit here and play this anime game, thinking about how we somehow went from Mr. Magoo to what we're looking at.
Yep. If he has water, that means
Fire,
he.
lightning,
Nope.
fury,
Yep. Thunder.
thunder. Thunder and lightning. Charge
McQueen.
the bars. All the bars.
Pretty good hit. Oh, wow, that was a fast fight.
There goes that boss.
Thing got fucking wrecked, son! I hope that I put everyone in that fight. I think I did. Yeah. Fuck them. Wait, we're not gonna... Okay, sure. That's great. I want experience, motherfuckers. You owe me. Okay, here we go. Fuck, I didn't use... Okay, well, Waka didn't get any. Fucking whatever. Fuck Waka.
Whoa, this is old. Don't know if you can play it back.
Jecht left it here 10 years ago.
That's not that old of a tape.
Play it
There will
back.
come a time where this video will be 10 years old.
Yeah. In 2028.
Yep.
What are you taking?
And then one of the
Well,
YouTube
you
comments will be
said
like,
it was going to be a long
shout out if you're
trip.
watching this in 2028.
We'll be seeing a lot
Like-
of neat things, right?
Oh, dude, it's Young Oren.
So I thought I'd record it all in this. To show to my
recorded by
wife and
Jecht.
kid, you know.
This is no pleasure cruise.
Hey, Braska,
Maybe they're not the same person, Ryan.
ain't this supposed to be a grand occasion?
I'm sure.
We're the cheering fans, the crying women.
This is it. Too many goodbyes. People think
That's
twice
Braska
about
there.
leaving.
Yes, that's Braska.
If
We
you say
don't get to
so.
see Jack Dodd.
Well, it better be a lot
He's
more
holding the
colorful when we
camera.
come back.
Yes.
A parade
So
for
clearly they
Braska,
couldn't be the same
vanquisher
person.
of sin.
I mean, you tell me.
No,
Should go.
You're
That's
not
not how
buying
that
it?
works.
Break soon.
It's still suspicious.
Okay, sure.
The fact that they haven't showed them hugging in the same scene together.
Oh, there they are. They're
There
not hugging the
they
shirt.
are. But I want to point something out to you. Oron, right now,
Good. That should do it.
is wearing half of the attire that he's currently wearing when we see
No,
him.
that's what he normally does. He has the sleeve off when he's fighting.
Braska, you should take one too.
No. I'm talking about the bandana and the body arm on the one arm. He's wearing what Jecht is
suppose.
wearing. He was wearing half of what Jecht is wearing.
We
in the
shouldn't
current
be
day.
wasting our time
No, he's
like
not.
He's wearing the bandana. Yes, he is. He wears the bandana with the glasses.
Well, he has the glasses, but
Let me
no, he has
tell
like a
you what
little
the hurry
neck
is.
thing.
Oh no, he's got glasses. No, I thought he had a bandana. I was pretty sure he had a bandana.
Walker's
Maybe I
got a
saw him
bandana.
at it. Maybe I saw him with a bandana at some point in some flashback.
He wasn't on some pleasure cruise.
That's what
They were hanging. They were chilling. I still don't buy it. I'm telling you. Somehow, some way, Oron and Jekt are the same person. Or
We
Jekt
just
is
saw
trapped
both of
inside
them.
Oron. That doesn't mean
Okay,
anything. Or
there we go.
Jekt is
That could be.
trapped inside of Oron. Or something.
Hey, if you're sitting there watching this, it means you're stuck in Spira like me. You might not know when you'll get back home, but you better not be crying.
Of course.
Although I guess I'd understand. But you know what?
Don't be a
There's a
bitch.
time when you have to stop crying and move on.
Pretty much.
You'll be
Okay,
fine.
Dad.
Remember,
I just want your approval.
you're my son.
You should totally hand this to Riku and be like, this is what we're telling you about the lightning.
Never mind, I'm no good at these
Wait,
things.
what?
Right? There's a time where you gotta quit whining and move on.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
The sternly fatherly advice. That she clearly lacks.
Yeah. No, I didn't see where
I
that
believe in you.
tangent was. Like where that
good.
train of thought went.
Goodbye.
He sounded almost serious, but it was too late.
He was serious. Jekt had already accepted his fate.
His
Yeah, see,
fate?
no bandana.
Jekt, he was always talking about going home to Xanarkand.
To Zen.
That's why he took all those pictures, to show them to you when he returned. But as he journeyed with us and came to understand Spira and Braska's resolve, it happened gradually. But Jekt changed.
Just like Steve.
He decided he would join Braska in his fight against sin.
So then, he gave up going home?
So then shouldn't all these people know
That
you? Shouldn't you just say, I'm
was
Jekt's son?
his decision.
And be like, oh,
I
we
guess
know you.
I understood. My old man.
I mean, he
He
wasn't
knew
there.
there was
They
no
never
way back
rejected us,
home.
but they don't know he
Back to
hasn't given us.
Xanarkand. He wanted
But
to
he
go
could tell them.
home, but
Yeah.
Him and
Well, he
Oren
has.
could
He
tell
really
everyone. They just are.
He told them
couldn't
to
go
the
on
party.
until he accepted it.
Yeah, but like when you walk
Besides,
into a new area, I don't
even
know.
if he
I
had
feel
found
like
a way
You
back,
could, like, how do you just bring,
I don't
do you
think
just
he
bring
would
that
have
up in
left his friends
conversation?
behind
Do you just
before
walk
their
into
journey.
like
But
the
it
middle
seems
of
like
the mall and
everyone
you're like,
knows of him
"I'm
because
Dave
Jekt was
Powers'
fighting with
son."
Braska. Yeah,
Let's
but
go,
Jekt was
guys.
fighting with Braska, so people will know of his name.
Maybe I had to start
sure.
accepting my
He's
own
like
fate.
Skyrim champion. He went
Yeah,
to.
but, like, people
It seems
already
like you're
give him
going on the
hassle.
same journey he did. Of course.
Oren learned a new overdrive.
Overdrive, shooting star,
Yeah.
and that relatively short boss battle is complete.
Yes. And
Wait,
We will find a save spear.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Jekt loved you.
thanks.
Oh, come on, please.
Yeah, I'm with
You know
Steve.
how I
It's
know
okay.
this?
Know how to express it, he said.
Because I'm
Because
him.
I'm Jack.
Enough about my old man, okay?
Enough about you.
I just thought you should know.
Okay.
I didn't have the heart to tell you, kid. I made up the fact that your
Thanks.
old man was Jack. I'm actually your old man.
Yeah.
What about all those photos and stuff?
Oh, what
The
if it's that?
Photoshop?
What if Jack wasn't really his father? What if Oren's his father the whole time, Ryan?
Shit, kid, Jack was your uncle, and I didn't have the heart to tell you.
Jack was
He's
some
my
homeless
brother.
guy on the street that I paid
Yep.
$7. You're right. Okay, so
Oh, well, you're right. You know what? So if it was, you know what? On your theory, now that I look at a reasonable
I don't have a theory. I
explanation-
know exactly what happens.
No, on your theory, on your joke theory or whatever that was,
Yeah.
the reasonable plausibility would be Jack played blitzball, Oron didn't. Oron could have been busy with doing whatever it is Oron does in the other timeline, and not had time to raise a kid, so left his kid with Jack, which is why you know blitzball because your father taught you, which Oron would have thought would have been better for a kid anyway, not fighting but playing blitzball.
Brilliant.
So I could buy that. I could buy the oh shit, I didn't mean to have this kid, and Jack's like, sure, I'll raise him for you.
Yeah.
We can't tell him. Yeah, sure. We'll tell him that he'll be the best blitzball player ever. He'll follow in my footsteps. I wanted someone to, because Jet's so egotistical that he wanted to groom a kid at blitzball anyway, right? Some athletes are like that. They want their kid to continue some name or some legacy, right? But that's the real secret, is that you're not part of that legacy. You're part of the Oron legacy.
Shit, dude.
Which means you should have been saying very little. You shouldn't have been shaking hands of babies and kissing the hands of women and
Well, he's
signing
legitimately a
autographs
talented player. on his own.
outside. No, but you should have been Sting. You should have been coming in from the rafters to the Blitzball game. Nobody should have seen you. You're mysterious like Oron.
You're right. And that'll do it for this episode, Ryan.
What did we learn, Kyle? We learned that the tree creates seeds that are memories. I remember
no, it was
that.
the liquid. The liquid was the
yes.
The liquid in spheres, and that's like the
yes.
Like
Listen, the spheres are like the tree's seeds, which contain the power, which give it the lifeblood, which create the anime. That's how it's
you can never finish an episode without saying the word anime.
It's the circle of anime, Kyle. It's never ending.
Yeah.
Photosynth something.
Shut the fuck up. Thanks for joining us, everybody.
Photosynth.
Thanks for joining me, Ryan.
I got nothing.
No, I'm done. See you guys next time.
Next time on